Assisted suicide is back before the courts in Canada, but it remains illegal. Tomorrow, Quebec is introducing legislation that would actually sidestep that law. If it passes, and it's expected to, doctors would be able to end the lives of terminally ill patients with their consent. More from the CBC's Catherine Cullen.
Frank Humphrey needs his wife's help to do almost anything, machines to help him breathe. He is in the final stages of ALS, but he does not want a doctor to help him die sooner.
Are you for euthanasia? No.
But supporters of Quebec's new legislation don't use the word euthanasia, saying it suggests the patient hasn't consented. It's expected the proposed law will require patients to explicitly, repeatedly ask their doctor to help them die, along with other strict criteria. The person has to be terminally ill and in serious pain. Another doctor will have to approve the request. Only then will a doctor be allowed to administer a fatal injection. This lawyer helped prepare a 400-page report for the government on the topic.
The main issue here is to make sure that the patient's consent is free, is well informed from someone who is competent to give instruction.
But one doctors group that opposes the legislation questions whether the government can be sure someone is competent to give consent.
It's unavoidable that undetected depression, undetected mental problem, personal distress will go on, and people will die by accident. People will die by mistake.
Doctors and nurses will almost certainly be able to opt out of the process. But for dying patients, this clinical ethicist says there's currently not enough palliative care.
I've been involved in thousands of cases of end of life. Could I say that there have been a handful of cases where one could make a pretty strong, persuasive argument that it's ethically acceptable? Perhaps.
He says that's because in many cases, the palliative care options are never fully explored. So how will this get around Canada's laws against assisted suicide? Well, lawyers consulted by the Quebec government argue that this is purely a health care issue. Therefore, it's provincial jurisdiction. The legislation is widely expected to pass, but many predict it could also be challenged and wind up before the courts. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Montreal.